in points. Despite 3 wins going to both LCK and LPL, LMS are ahead. If MAD win this game here, it's tied 3 ways across the board, but it's LMS reclaiming first late into day 1.
Yeah, and it just comes down to Flash Wolves playing well. So once again, it comes down to wins. You need to have the wins first and foremost. So Mad has to come through. Liang in the top lane, Benny, Uniboy, Breeze, and K. So that is Benny starting for the team in the jungle.
But then on the other side, it's the Rogue Warriors, the hometown heroes, Mouse Flawless, Super Carry, Doinby, SMLZ, and Kahlua.
And to get a little bit more into this, MAD, you know, we saw them play earlier today, yesterday. It was against KT, and it wasn't quite the best matchup for them.
It was interesting because they played to a lot of KT's aggression very well. In fact, they were hanging better than Rogue Warriors did in this one. So I think that, Matt, if they come into the same mindset, then it would look good. Problem is, going into this one, I would say, hey, it looks good because Kongyu is honestly consistently playing towards the right side of the map. Issue here is, now we have Benny coming in. Last time we've seen Benny on Mad was last split when they were not performing all too hot. So I'm pretty surprised. I think Kongyu was by far the better jungler, and we'll see if he can come in and reclaim it.
I'm going to go a bit higher level. I think if you're Mad, you're looking at someone like Rogue Warriors. I call them the hammer of the LPL. They really like to force plays, and KT looked at that and just cut them apart with surgical precision. Now, if you're Mad, just play an early game snowball type of comp. Sit under your tower and wait, because those guys are going to come.
Wait a minute.
They're going to force a dive, and you can capitalize and try to snowball. Don't go for anything scaling here. Don't try to overcomplicate it. Just go into the 5v5, the wombo combo. Recognize that your bot lane tower is going to get, you know, camped probably 3 times before 14 minutes, and just catch what they're going to give you.
There we go. I mean, that's fair. The issue is they're going up against a lot of talented players. Matt has some great talented players. Uniboy is great as well. Like, they should be able to match kind of well with them. Issue is that, once again, Rogue Warriors are very strong cohesively. When it comes towards when they're playing the LPL, if they will pick their skirmishes, it may not be the best one, but they'll ultimately win it out because they're always there. Mouse is always with the lineup. TPs are coming in really hot for them. So Liang has got to keep him under constant radar, keep watch of Mouse, and on top of that, you're right, as long as the control wards come down and they can catch them, they can respond, the counter gank should be there and should be strong.
That being said, though, this could very well be a very bloody match. Rogue Warriors are a very emotional team, and MAD, after seeing Flash Wolves win, could get some of that adrenaline themselves. This could very well be very spicy. Let's see how it shakes out as we send it to our casters to get us into game.
Thanks, Dom. You're absolutely right about the spike of adrenaline, because I've been causing quite some slow matches until that final match that we just saw. That was a crack of a finish, and now we're going into the next match, which could put LMS ahead. If MAD are able to pick up a win here, they would propel to first place at Rift Riders.
Currently, LMS are already in first place because 5 points are awarded for their first team winning, and of course, Flash Wolves defeating both the LPL and the LCK does give them that exactly. However, the rest of the LMS has not been doing so hot in this tournament.
No, they have not. MAD lost their first match against KT Rolster. The KT Rolster roller coaster looked fantastic and has this entire tournament. But they did put up a good fight. They made all the right moves, made the correct proactive plays, but couldn't find the play that would help them win that match. Now they're up against Rogue Warriors. Rogue Warriors had an abysmal performance in yesterday's match as well.
Yep, both teams falling over to the LCK representatives in KT. Now, both of these teams, they really like to team fight. Both of them are known as fighting teams, but personally, I do give this to Rogue Warriors a little bit. Doinby, SMLZ, they are the carries with the bigger names, and their team fighting has been immaculate for so long in the LPL.
It has, but we saw how KT were able to shut that down. Did a fantastic job of that. I like what FLICKR said. Just sit back, relax, let them deliver what they're going to give to you. Let them deliver those brawl-heavy fights and take them down while they do just that. Taking a look at the bans coming through from both these teams. MAD are going to ban out Kled, Camille, as well as Talia. Zoe, Sejuani, and Tahm Kench being taken away by Rogue Warriors. First pick coming out for MAD is going to be Irelia.
MAD going with the draft to shutting down the mid-jungle synergy from Rogue Warriors. Flawless, a massive Lee Sin player, and Doinby does have a lot of power on Talia and Kled as well. MAD, they have a very limited champion pool in the mid lane. Uniboy, known as a bit of a one-trick, but has been doing very well on Irelia so far. So I really like the Camille takeaway because that's the strongest level 2 jungle that you would have to face.
But Rogue Warriors will pick up Nocturne, one scary paranoia boy into the jungle for Flawless. It's a pick that was popular to start the summer split, but just became stronger and stronger, became more popular towards the latter half, or sorry, the early stages of summer split, pairing up with SMLZ's Lucian.
So Rogue Warriors already setting themselves up for a strong pick type of composition. We have seen them do this over and over again, but typically they do need a couple more engage points, especially from the mid lane. The Kled has been the go-to pick for this type of a comp for Rogue Warriors, so we're going to have to see them find a new answer into this.
And Doinby's other answer was normally something like Aatrox, but Aatrox has been reworked. That being said, has been popular at this tournament as well. Played once already by the Shy, and a lot of bans being thrown to different teams. Potentially could be picked up by Doinby. Papa Smithy said on the desk yesterday that he has been playing, or Aatrox has been playing in some unorthodox positions, so curious to see where they would be. Skarner as well as Ezreal were the next two picks coming out for MAD. Rogue Warriors could go for something like Shen to pair up with Nocturne here, but hovering over their support for Kahlua, that's the pick they go for. Alistar locked in.
Kahlua has a tremendous Alistar. We see it in week 1, multiple man knockups, so they're definitely setting up the stage for a strong pick and also a very good teamfight combination. I have to say, MAD, going back to what they're comfortable with, all of these champions are their most plays. Benny, he didn't play in summer at all yet, but in spring, he was the Skarner one trick. So they're going back to comfort, but I'm not seeing a composition yet, and that's a bit worrying.
Well, they will have to show their hand after SMLZ's pick for the team. First ban targeted at the top lane. They take away Mouse's on Morgana as well as Singed being banned out by Rogue Warriors.
Yep, taking away Liang's most played as well.
And then they take away Mouse's most played as well. Dr. Mundo being banned out.
Yep. Generally, when you're playing against Rogue Warriors, you want to take away their engage options from the top lane. Mouse is there for one reason only, and it is for those team fights, so I like this draft.
And we saw him play Rumble yesterday. His Rumble looked good despite the loss against KT. And one of the Chinese casters, Teddy, came up to us and talked to us after the event yesterday and said it was so strange to see Mouse not play a tank, especially when he had the opportunity to pick up Dr. Mundo in the match against KT. But seems like Rogue Warriors are going to put him back on tank duty, unless it's Doinby's Poppy. That will be Mouse playing the tank in the top lane.
Unfortunately, Poppy doesn't go so well with engage type of compositions. You can try to lock people down with the W running forward, but not really the strongest answer that I think Rogue Warriors wanted to look for. And Emmett Mad are shaping up for a swinging top lane.
So Clement, Rakan or Pyke, go.
I love Rakan. Go with Rakan.
Why Rakan?
Well, I think Rakan has better engage opportunities, is less susceptible to being snowballed the wrong way. Rakan, in this patch, you do need a lot of extra damage to actually work out. They want to steer you towards attack damage, and it's not certain that you're going to get that snowball. Also, there's no shielding champions on Rogue Warriors, so the execute is less useful there. Rakan, general purpose-wise, much better champion.
Helps him out with the initiations as well. They'll be paired up with Ezreal in the bottom lane. Final pick coming out for Rogue Warriors means we will get a Rumble. That should be Poppy in the mid lane for Doinby. Rumble in the top lane again for Mouse.
We have seen this being played by FLICKR. He has run the Poppy into the mid lane to counter out the Aurelia. Aurelia does need to get her Blade Surges for the extra damage and the healing, of course. So they're just trying to pair that up with Aurelia, give that a hard lane, but this is like both sides playing chicken.
You've got till 20 seconds to decide where these champions are going to go. They swap over. Now Mouse has it. Crowd has a bit of a giggle.
Yeah, you can see Uniboy right there, just trying to hide his smirk as they swap around to confuse each other. Doinby looking a bit under the under his emotions right now. He's usually
a bit of an SMLZ
person
right now.
Yeah.
Not the Doinby, just an SMLZ. He was excited yesterday. We saw when he locked in Talon, he was happy, cheerful, shaking up Flawless a little bit as well.
And the reunion between two LMS coaches, Steak from Flash Wolves and Green Tea from AHQ, now heading on their own teams, shoring up the next generation of players. It's really good to see this. Players still finding careers after they have retired from the seats themselves.
We saw Green Tea play with AHQ all the way till 2016 was their main support. Then moved into a coaching position. When AHQ Fighters promoted into the LMS, Green Tea moved over from AHQ to AHQ Fighters, now known as MAD, which was the organization that picked them up. Stakel's moving over to the LPL. Was a coach in the LMS, played in the top lane. Now coaching Rogue Warriors, who had a fantastic breakout split. A bag of misfits joining together, have worked well in Spring Split with a 3rd place finish, doing well in Summer so far.
And this is just how close the two regions really are. LMS, a lot of junglers going over, a lot of coaching staff actually going over as well. We have managers that come from the LMS. The teams know each other fairly well.
Look, the LPL's taken 3 junglers, is it, this split, Clement, from the LMS?
Oh, yeah.
Somehow the Flash will still take down the MSI champions of RNG and the MSI finalists of Kingzone. Now it's up to MAD to try and put LMS out in front. They're going up against Rogue Warriors. Two and 4 for the LMS, 3 and 2 for the LPL at the moment. Going into this match, it is a Poppy in the mid lane. Breeze, get the heck out of there. I know you want that kleptomancy, Brock. Not going to happen.
Yep, just want to get a little extra gold. I think Rogue Warriors' composition overall in team fights is actually fairly difficult to execute. They don't have very clear knockups. If the paranoia goes in, they really only have Alistar to lock someone down for it. It's going to be centered a lot more around picks rather than what we expected of the team fights coming out from Rogue Warriors.
How do they find these picks? How do Rogue Warriors look for picks? Are they looking for early game? They're going towards the mid game when Nocturne has ultimate available?
I would say actually the bot lane, this has always been their strength, and they do have the hard CC there as well. So it's probably going to be a farm till 6 game, try to get the bot lane snowballing. They're very strong with the first equalizer from the Rumble, snowball bot lane into Dragon. That's basically the game plan.
So they're not going to be going towards those team fights. They do have team fight-ish champions with Poppy, Lucian, Alistar, but not the likes of Nocturne, not so much.
They have
of Rumble.
Good early to mid team fights, but I wouldn't really give it to them late game.
Okay. So why will you give it to MAD then? Is that their job as well? They're going to the late game? Is that where they're trying to attack?
I do think they have the stronger comp in that sense. Ezreal does outscale the Lucian, and Rumble as a late game champion is not terribly solid against the likes of Aurelia or just the pick-off coming in from Skarner either. So I would say Mad probably does have a better lead there, but Rogue Warriors, if they can snowball off the first Drake, all bets are off.
If they can. Let's see if they do move towards that first dragon, which is going to be an Ocean Dragon. Keep track of the matchups later on. They do put the Poppy into the Aurelia lane, which is in the mid lane for Uniboy. You mentioned during Champions League, this is one of his picks at the moment, doing well. That's good trades at the Doinby. They trades back equally as well. Nothing too fancy starting at the start of the match. We saw Flawless do an entire red side clear. Now moving towards the top side of the map is level 3, where Skarner went from his red buff to Raptors immediately to top side Scuttle Crab, now on his own blue buff.
Yep, trying to cancel out most of the jungle pressure coming in from Flawless. Flawless is a very aggressive early jungler, so Benny decides to go for a less efficient route, but a route that does covers both of his side lanes.
But slow start, no early action, nothing too unorthodox. It's been top lane pushing in for Liang on this Swain, as well as Uniboy being pushed in by Poppy in the mid lane. We've already seen this being played with the current meta from the LCK. I haven't seen Doinby play it, but if there was one player to pick it up in the LPL, it's going to be Doinby.
Yeah, Doinby just likes to try everything. In our interview with him, he's a guy that always practices weird champions, off-meta picks. And it's a really good counter here. You cancel out the Blade Surge, and most champions with Grasp of the Undying will actually just beat Aurelia down. If you can't fight Aurelia, it's terrible because you're not going to run away from her. But if you can stand your ground, then it's usually a good pick.
It's been shoving in Aurelia nice and early. Checking in with the bottom side of the map to engage heavy supports of Alistar as well as Rakan. SMLZ as well as Breeze on very slippery AD carries of Lucian as well as Ezreal. Neither team going for the mages or bruisers in the bottom lane.
Just look at that punish. So Aurelia in 8.13 has actually had a terrible win rate so far. The 1 second off of her marks really hurt her in team fights. Now you can't really wait on the front line to die and then still get the back line. You need to go for the early dive right away. So there's a lot less of a window in team fights. Ooh, Kahlua taking a bad trade.
Quite a bit of damage, but he's okay. Pops a health pot, and he's going to be okay. Why is it that Aurelia has such a poor win rate, but still being picked up? What is it that Aurelia brings to the team that another champion can't?
A lot of times it's just the early lane snowball. It doesn't really matter about the laning phase so much. A lot of champions do counter her, but with Vanguard's Edge, you can always catch up.
They're trying for a fight, but Flawless is here. Ward's placed down nice and early. Spot out. But Flawless is close by, able to protect Doinby.
I think Aurelia is still the single best champion to snowball off of. If you get a strong champion early, something like the Camille is what we usually see paired up with the Aurelia. The level 2 CC chain just is absolutely devastating, and you can flip a lot of matchups that are bad with her.
But MAD don't have a champion like Camille.
They don't have Kongyue to play them.
They've got Benny playing Skarner. So what do we expect from him? Is it going to be Benny hitting level 6, moving into mid lane to lock down Doinby? Does Uniboy have to find another avenue to attack, perhaps going to the bottom or top lane?
I really do see Benny as more in line with someone like Mujin. They're not so much about the level 1s to 5s, but about the team fights and the level 6 all-ins. So that's a big thing we want to watch for. Benny putting himself in a bad position.
Still gets feared. Doinby decides to flash forward as well. Forces the flash out of Skarner, summoner for summoner.
Yeah, I really like how Doinby actually held on to the stun right there. Knew that Benny probably had the reaction time to just simply flash away. So he was holding on to the stun for a potential chance to get it after he went over the wall. Unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Does knock Benny away from picking up this Scuttle Crab. Now, we were talking about how Rogue Warriors can focus on trying to pick up this objective of Dragon. I mean, that Scuttle Crab means that about 7 minutes in, could try and look for it. Deny the invulnerable vision that comes out from MAD if they got it themselves. But Nocturne going for a flank around Uniboy, still level 5. Doinby is level 6. Forces the flash out of Irelia, doesn't get the stun as well. Benny is here to defend him, but he's just going to be able to do only that. No counter gank coming out from MAD.
Benny coming in right in time. Actually, that was fairly dangerous from Doinby's part. If he was hit by that stun, I actually think that he might have just died there. There was no track for Flawless to join back in, but fortunately for him, it doesn't happen.
And that's what FLICKR was talking about on the desk. Rogue Warriors eventually will do something like that. They will throw everything at you in one particular lane.
Yeah.
If you draft for the early game, you draft to try and fight that. That's where you can pick up snowball leads and pick up advantages, but Benny as well as Uniboy not able to capitalize on it, but they also don't die, so successful disengage from them.
Yep. Flawless has traditionally taken a lot of risks, of course, coming from the LCK known as a Lee Sin one trick. But unfortunately, this split has not really been his best. Without Lee Sin, he seems to have a hard time gauging how far he can actually go in. And sure, nothing happened that gank, and it was still a good gank. They did deny some CS. But I'm saying if you run that gank 10 times, there's a good chance a couple of them Doinby dies.
During the spring split, Flawless was known as the Hunter. Would find the enemy jungler, try and kill him. In fact, had the highest solo kills for a jungler in the LPL. I believe towards the end of the split, he was sitting above 8 kills.
Oh yeah. In terms of the solo kills, he actually got 8 of them, and he was undefeated on Lee Sin throughout the entirety of regular split. It took IG in the semifinals to actually wipe that record away. Sorry, the fourth place match.
But Rogue Warriors were eventually able to pick up third, taking down Invictus Gaming. So they were denied a finals appearance by RNG. Side of MAD though, they are the third place seed coming in from the LMS, but they're currently 3-0. So if there was any team besides the Flash Wolves to try and pick up these victories to put the LMS ahead, it would be MAD.
It definitely would. I do expect if there's another win, it should come from them. But right now, I think Rogue Warriors do have the upper hand. Look at the top lane teleports. Rumble does have the advantage here, and Flawless is also level 6. So they're already setting up this play. What we have to look for is a potential teleport behind the wave.
So Rumble was spotted out. A ward just expired from MAD. Liang still hasn't made any rotations, but Mouse is already here.
Going in.
Jumping in on top of Verla. No flash available for him. Will be taken down first. They're trying to go for the counter game. Skarner's not long for this world either. Flawless somehow gets out alive. A double kill for Mouse.
A very slow reaction from MAD. They actually saw the play coming, but did not have enough time to really go out. Uniboy kind of hesitating either to go forward or go backwards. And Doinby with 2 assists right here is breaking this game wide open. No teleports used by Rumble still.
Can just waltz straight back to the top lane. Pick up the farm that Liang's been able to push into this turret. Great play coming out from Rogue Warriors. Capitalizing on the teleport being down, attacking the mid lane. MAD not able to respond, not able to get Uniboy out in time this time round.
And I think we're seeing the problem with the lower teams from the LMS. Sure, they have good mechanics, but they don't really have champion pools to play at this level. They're very easy to scout out. Uniboy plays 1 champion, 2 champion. That's probably it. It was the same thing with KT. They're too easy to draft against. You knew what they were taking out. And again, you could see a lot of counter picks from Rogue Warriors working out for them.
KT also just looked incredibly scary as well. 2-0. They played all their group stage matches on day 1. One was against MAD, the final one against Rogue Warriors, but they just looked unstoppable. So I'm going to be excited to see them during the blind relay. Here's that gank again.
Just the fear coming in, and also the W from Poppy, making sure that the Blade Surge could not come out. Uniboy with no flash falls down.
Still sitting on just his Ninja Tab, he has the components for a Phage, but yet to pick it up. Whereas for Doinby, Sheen already complete. Has the Barmy Cinder as well. That mid lane turret already very low. Liang, aggressive trades here by Mouse. Has a red buff for himself on Rumble too.
Yeah, there's no way you're going to take down Mouse at this point. He has the early magic penetration, and Rumble on this patch has been buffed as well. The shielding is much thicker. It's harder to really put damage onto him.
Also damage on his ultimate too, helping him out. More maximum damage there.
Rumble has always been that champion where you get one perfect team fight and he swings the game for you. And Riot just felt like his late game potential wasn't really there anymore. So just giving him a little bit of love. You can play him later into the game without him being just that one Drake champion.
Mouse must be thankful as well because he's been primarily a tank player in 8 games of Dr. Mundo in the LPL alone. And that's just this split. So being able to pick up a champion like the Rumble has been good for him because a lot of tanks have been banned out against Rogue Warriors trying to target Mouse's champion pool. But we can check in with some of the items being picked up here, Colin. We already talked about Poppy in the mid lane. A few stopwatches have been complete. Nocturne, Poppy, as well as Alistar have theirs. Blade of the Ruined King being picked up by Lucian too. Tyr and Sheen only complete for Breeze. We touched on Uniboy, already got his Phage picked up now, but his turret picked up by Doinby. And naturally taken down that one.
They're just moving so fast in this matchup. We said Mad probably had a better late game composition, but they're so far behind at this point, and all of their lanings, all of the lanes are actually collapsing under the weight.
Rogue Warriors just take small incremental advantages. Rift Herald's their next target. They're going to try and take that for themselves. Benny's trying to get into the mid lane. Doinby does get stunned, but is able to charge back to a minion and disengages away from the mid-jungle duo. Mouse even called upon to defend this Rift Herald. Flawless wants to pick it up. Benny's trying to rotate into the pit, trying to stop Rogue Warriors from taking this. Or does he just wrap around, looking for Doinby instead? Does get stunned up, charges out of the ultimate, but Paranoid's coming in before the teleports get complete. Flawless dives in. Mouse is in this team fight as well. SMLZ gets there first. They eject Swain and Demonic Ascension. Uniboy, one tap away from falling, escapes, lives to fight another day, but Kahlua piles on in. Rogue Warriors find another kill. They trade 2 for nothing.
And Mad trying to go for the pincer, but Rogue Warriors were faster on the trigger. Remember, all of their lanes were winning to begin with, so very much easier time to getting to the crime scene at that point. And just a beautiful finish from every single player. Kahlua with the crucial CC at the end to prevent the Never Move from netting them too much, and SMLZ with the teleport in the nick of time, picking up 2 assists for himself.
Big ultimate coming out from Mouse, layering it on top of multiple members of MAD. Interesting map rotations coming out from MAD as well. Benny was able to rotate, fake that he was going towards the Rift Herald. Liang was able to get the teleport off in time before Paranoia was activated, so he almost got to the team fight first. But Rogue Warriors was still able to turn it around, pick up 2 kills for themselves. Everyone rotating at the right time.
And this is just brutal to watch from Rogue Warriors. They're not even going to try to take down that bot tower. Wants more laning kills. Let's watch Doinby again. He's very tanky, even with the Sheen first in his item field. Has no defenses, but Paranoia teleport comes down at the same time. Beauty Boy has to go away, and that equalizer. The double, and then the Swain landing on the equalizer as well. It was a bit hairy in this situation, but Kahlua was coming in for the kill.
Doinby had it timed as well. As soon as the teleport was complete from Liang, ejected him out of the team fight, so Demonic Ascension couldn't do much to start. Tried to follow up, but Kahlua rotated in time to lock him down. 4 kills for Rogue Warriors. 5,000 gold ahead, just 14 minutes into this match.
And I think Rogue Warriors are just showcasing they are better players across the board. None of the lanes really going to Mad's way. And this is the problem that we've seen from MAD in their previous match against KT. A little bit too easy to gauge what type of champion they're going for, but K going in for the kill.
Does lock the SMLZ, but no damage here just yet. Trying to fight back. Ignite is ticking, has to get healed. There goes Breeze!
Oh, the 2v2 kill.
Into the back lines, gets that kill. Killua now forced to disengage. Mouse gonna try and jump in. Benny tries to pull him back. The flames are going in the wrong direction. You can't burn nothing, Mouse. You have to hit the champions with it. Doinby ejects one small cannon boy and charges into 4 members of MAD. Killua with the double knockup. Stigage is coming in as well. There goes Nocturne. Nightmares into the back lines. Uniboy's trying his hardest, but he's looking for the ace. Liang joins the fight. Too little, too late. Demonic Ascension not getting much. Killua with another fantastic combo. Diving into the turret. Stopwatch used to delay them a little bit longer, but the fear still comes through. Into the wall you go, says Doinby, and that's an ace for Rogue Warriors.
And Rogue Warriors once again collapsing faster than Mad. Mad is not the team to stay back and wait for the engages coming in. Mouse was just massive, like he got the extra teleport right there. There was nothing on Liang's side to really match it. So they just come in faster, and Flawless turning off the lights really was lights out for MAD.
They lose SMLZ. Breeze with the hero play to jump into the back lines, but MAD lose everybody the back half of that fight. Poor initiation to start from Rogue Warriors, bringing down Mouse, trying to disengage, but they're still able to capitalize later on in the fight.
Yeah, that was a great slow coming out from Doinby as well. He went in 1v4 because he knew he had the Frozen Gauntlet to keep everyone in place. I originally thought the teleport from Mouse was actually quite questionable. He could have been killed on the spot, but they definitely had a follow-up plan in mind. They had the extra teleport to come into the fight.
Suddenly things are just looking too difficult, Clement. 9,000 gold lead for Rogue Warriors. And if MAD can't pick up a win here, LMS will be forced to play the 3rd and 2nd match tomorrow to try and promote into the finals on day 4. That would mean that only the LPL and the LCK can fight for that final spot on day 4, the automatic seed.
And certainly a bit of disappointment. LMS last time at Rift Rivals still was able to take down 4 wins, 50% of their wins in the group stage. But unfortunately, only Flash Wolves keeping up in shape. And Rogue Warriors just proving LPL, the bigger region, having the better players at this tournament.
Well, they still have one more match to play after this one. That's going to be G-Rex taking on a Freak of Freaks, but Machi 0-2, MAD currently 0-1, G-Rex 0-1, only Flash Wolves taking that down, both #1 seeds.
Look at that build from Flawless. He's just thinking about his KDA at this point. Goes for the Guardian Angel early.
We're going to try and dive into the back lines as well. If he does die on the back half of it, this will get the what's it called? Respawn? It's not respawn, it's another word. Revive.
Yeah. Typically we do see the armor the lethality items coming out from Nocturne as the second choice, but you know, Flawless thinks that there's enough targets on Rogue Warriors that he can revive in a safe spot.
He's 10,000 gold ahead as well. You might value being able to revive more than that lethality that will come out from other items. Rogue Warriors able to drop Rift Herald in the top lane. Takes down the top lane in the turret, gets a charge on the inhibitor turret as well. Mouse is setting up for the mid lane too. Doinby does get spotted out by K.
Really no contest coming in.
Getting a pick on Doinby. For a fight onto Doinby. Is that half health? Demonic Ascension being used as well. Doinby's not happy about that. Sure, use everything. Killua's going to jump back in. Mouse throws down the ultimate, tries to separate the team. Liang gets taken down first. They're still looking for a fight. Good pull back into the inhibitor turret. Killua's locked down. They trade back, getting 2 kills for MAD. Rogue Warriors going to be forced to disengage after diving a little bit too deep. Flawless in some trouble, gets the GA popped. They bit off a bit more than they could do there. It looked good with the ultimate, but not good enough. Rogue Warriors lose 3.
And this is what FrostKern was talking about. Rogue Warriors, they love to fight, but they don't always pick the best moments to do so. SMLZ was behind tower trying to take that down, so probably couldn't join, or else he would have drawn aggro at that point. And we saw Benny with a great take back the Impale, dragging a member into the base.
A little bit cocky almost. Doinby positioning right next to the base gate. Everything was used on him, but he was still healthy, and that's with, okay, Rogue Warriors should disengage here.
Yeah, but
they doubled
Killua
down.
going back in again at the last moments right there. Doinby probably couldn't join. No paranoia to go for the backlines means Breeze has an easy time dodging out on most of the damage. In fact, he isn't really even hit by the equalizers. Vanguard's edge goes in, and nobody can really get away. The tower shot finishes off SMLZ.
Wrong side of the wall with that equalizer, and SMLZ separated from his team. No Killua to keep him safe. He went for the first initiation. Good punish coming out from MD. They tried to collapse on Doinby. Bit too tanky to kill right off the bat using a lot of ultimates there, but realized that Rogue Warriors were diving too deep. Turned it back around. Picked up some gold for themselves, but they don't get much else besides that. They're still 9,000 gold behind.
Do have to say half of the equalizer was in the wall as well, so not doing as much damage as it potentially could. But that being said, I still think Mouse has been having a great game. It's not usual to see Mouse be the actual carry of Rogue Warriors. Usually it's SMLZ. Usually we talk about super carry Doinby in the mid lane with his bruisers, but Mouse going back to one of his old tricks on EDG, the Rumble.
6-0-3. Great performance against KT Rolster, but KT Rolster shut down every other aspect of Rogue Warriors in their match yesterday. They performed fantastically. Now it's Mouse. 9,000 gold, Clement, to the 6,000 of the hour.
Yeah, there's not much that MAD can do to contest this. They're going to have to walk through one of those corridors, and Equalizer will be the death of them.
Rogue Warriors have set up for this Baron. Killua's waiting. True Shot Barrage spots them out, so now they know they're on the pit. About half health now on that Baron. Doinby knocks the Skarner away. Benny can't get in position for the smite. MAD might have to give this one up. Stops him from getting for the forward. Charge him into the wall. Almost a missed smite coming out there, but SMLZ secures it. Nocturne diving on top of Benny, but meanwhile there's a 3-on-4 where MAD have the advantage. They're waiting for Rogue Warriors to regroup. Flawless is fairly low, but Doinby now has a flank, takes away the blast cone as well. Rogue Warriors will settle for Baron and the single pick, head back to base.
I have to say, I don't think that was the best target for Flawless, but great play from Doinby, actually denying Benny any chance to smite twice in a row.
Look, we talk about Doinby being super carry Doinby. We can see a few fan signs in the arena with the super carry Doinby as well. But it was also super tank Doinby in Spring Split. Righteous Glory on Rise, Frozen Heart from time to time. Now with the Sunfire Cape, Iceborne Gauntlet, as well as the Gargoyle Stone Plate being picked up for his Poppy. Very tanky in that mid lane position. Did well against Uniboy during the laning phase.
Yep, Super Carry Doinby is kind of a play on how he usually does. He's been known as the most supportive mid laners, opting in for tank builds. He had the 0 AP cast at 18 minutes, going for Frozen Gauntlet, and also the Tank Victor. So when he says he's going super carry
of the Tank Victor comment,
people have to know. They have the right to know about how Doinby actually plays and what super carry Doinby really means. It just means that he's playing normal as a mid laner.
Well, MAD were able to put up a good stand in their base last time Rogue Warriors were knocking on their door. They'll try and do so again against Baron Buff in a 13,000 gold deficit. Yep. Double lockdown means Mouse will take some damage, but Killua turns around now in so much trouble, has to use the demonic extension, but they pull back to support. Doinby with the knockup, trying to knock someone away, doesn't get it, but pulls Uniboy back into the equalizer, forced to use his own stopwatch. Killua again with a reinitiation, means Rogue Warriors fine too. MAD left to 3 members inside their own base, and Rogue Warriors are not done. Doinby separating them from the inhibitors, making sure Rogue Warriors can continue marching towards the Nexus.
Lots of blinking health bars right here, but Rogue Warriors is still able to keep all of their aside from Flawless.
Flawless was taken down, so MAD do trade back. The 3 members aren't going to be enough to repel this push for now. Living to fight another day. Wasn't clean, but they get one back for themselves.
Yep, but they definitely finished the job. Remember, the Nexus towers are very easy to take down in this patch, and you're going to see a lot of these plays in 8.13 and forward in the patch. You can lose members, but as long as you chip away at the base, it actually makes your late game a lot easier.
Only 23 minutes into the game, and it's a 13,000 lead for Rogue Warriors. Again, it's do or die for MAD. Loss here means LMS will play tomorrow. The blind relay to advance to the finals. The final seed will be between the LPL and the LCK. SMLZ's already picked up his Black Cleaver second, going for the QSS. Not going for the SS3 for just yet. Deathcap being built by Mouse has both of his needlessly large rods.
And I just want to see one perfect team fight coming out from Rogue Warriors. Like, I think they're better than this. They can have this really clean mop up. They're so far ahead in gold. I want to see a perfect equalizer on top of a perfect Poppy.
Yeah, I'll see you in 2022, because that might be the time Rogue Warriors look for a good team fight. Doinby trying to take up absolutely everything, and the kitchen sink! Still alive, will finally fall, and when he get the first pick onto the main tank of Rogue Warriors, Uniboy almost stays alive. K goes for initiation, forced to back away. 1-for-1 trade. Rogue Warriors lose their Baron buff. Killua now in a sticky situation. Breeze with good damage, goes over the wall, gets the kill. MD find another one. Flawless. Well. He's gonna lose his Guardian Angel. Good play by Liang, will knock that item off of Nocturne's inventory. You're not going to see it just yet, Clement, because that was messy from Rogue Warriors.
Yeah, that was a little bit off on the timing from the mouse teleport. It actually didn't come in until the Paranoia was finished.
Good collapse coming out from MAD, though. They're able to take down Doinby, the tank on the side of Rogue Warriors, kill him first, and still follow up with a fight to kill Killua afterwards.
That was a pure win coming out from NAD, because unlike the previous fight, they took down no structures on Rogue Warriors' side. That was a simple kill transferred over to the carries. Let's watch that again. I think Doinby was a little bit ambitious staying in this position. It was a 1v5 for a long time, but I just wonder, where was Mouse's teleport? Like, the Paranoia is on his side of the team, and he doesn't teleport until the Paranoia actually finishes.
You've got Killua going back in again. Another initiation here underneath the tower, and that's where they try. Oh, doesn't even go for initiation, just wanders into the base. Besides that, he's won with the MAD base. He's a bit mad as well.
That's one thing I don't like about Rogue Warrior team fights so much. A lot of the times their shot calling really isn't on point, especially with their newer players in Flawless and Killua. They do go in a little bit too far at times.
They're a snowball team. We saw earlier the highest goal difference at 20 in the LPL, 7,900.
Definitely true.
They're a very snowball-heavy team. Execution is not always their strong point. But if the boulder drops and starts to roll, it's not too much the opposition can do. MAD are putting up a good fight. They've been able to repel Rogue Warriors a couple times, even against Baron, even against the gold lead that Rogue Warriors have picked up.
And we were talking about MAD having the stronger super late game fight. They might be down 10K, but if they still hang on to this and take it to 35, which arguably is a very long time, but if they get that time, I actually think they win out in the 5v5.
8 minutes away, handling that away from Killua. Very low, pops the ultimate rather late. Benny pulls it back, another pick for MAD. What is going on, Clement?
This is Rogue Warriors losing to... Oh, but SMLZ is going to have his time here.
They're going to be able to pull back Flawless, though. Takes down a lot of damage. Gets the Paranoia for the instant burst. Doinby gets to the front lines of the fight. They can't fight with Nocturne. Too low on health at the moment, trying to heal off of walls. Doinby fighting back against the wall. No flash available. Gets locked down. How are MAD doing this? How the heck is this happening?
13K down. 13,000 gold down, and they're still keeping themselves alive in the team fight. I think the big problem here is as Rogue Warriors don't have the tools to lock down Breeze. Like, they have one hard CCA and Nocturne that's going to fly in onto his face, but that's pretty much it. Once they lose Killua, they can't touch MAD's backline.
They need to be careful. Now they're 12,000 gold ahead still. Rogue Warriors still have a massive lead to work with. But that's 3 fights and a Baron buff that MAD have been able to repel from Rogue Warriors finishing the match once they got the 10K lead.
This should have been a 25-minute game from Rogue Warriors, but they are showing a bit of a sloppy side. And that's the reason that people were not super high on them coming into the summer split. Sure, they took down Invictus Gaming. Sure, they had a very strong start of the summer split. But in terms of the executions, there's definitely... think about the members that they replaced coming into Rift Rivals. You think about World Elite, WE, with their team fighting prowess, and this really isn't the same, even though they have a hyper carry in SMLZ as well.
EDG really exposed their weaknesses in the last match of Week 3 of the LPL before Rift Rivals. Now MAD are punishing these mistakes against Rogue Warriors and making interesting plays of their own to try and pick off members of Rogue Warriors one by one. They have to keep at it. They have to be tenacious. They're still behind. But if they can keep making these plays, finding these picks, keeping Breeze alive as well, who still has his own stopwatch, they could try and force a comeback, try and force an uneven fight for Rogue Warriors, who should be now dancing around Baron buff.
Yep, and you can see MAD with all their inhibitors up now are willing to push out onto the base. Rogue Warriors are actually the one that look a little bit traumatized by the recent events. They're not really sure how to proceed. But I think Doinby going for a flank might be a very good idea. He could try to lock up the front line.
Sitting around near the blast cone on the way pings coming out from Doinby, but can't find the flank. Instead, Rogue Warriors push out mid lane again. Immediately bank back towards the Baron pits, clearing out wards wherever they can. Control wards placed down as well. Still 2 more control wards on the side of Flawless to work with. Only 1 control ward being picked up by Benny so far. They've got 4 of them to regain control of this. No more wards available for K either. He can't move in, place on the wards, regain control anymore. Rogue Warriors have set up for this. They just have to execute to take the Baron.
We do have to mention that Kahlua does have his flash. He's pretty much the only way that Rogue Warriors can lock down MAD in a team fight. So he's standing up front in a very far away position. Was spotted out by the Swain though. They know they're starting Baron.
He doesn't have many soul fragments though. Swain only on 2. Demonic Ascension not going to deal too much. Almost collapsing on the Uniboy. Paranoid being used very early by Rogue Warriors. That's not going to be available for the next Baron take. It actually might mean that Mad go back. Kahlua
goes in.
Looks for the fight. Equalizer comes through nice and early, using their stopwatch early, but K is going to get taken down. That's the support gone from MAD. Liang forced to flash away. Rogue Warriors mouse follows through. So does SMLZ. They get another pick. Doinby locks down 1. Kahlua follows through, knocking the GA out of Uniboy. He will revive, try and do what he can, but it's just a bit more damage. Mouse for the double kill.
And Rogue Warriors finally find their pick. Kahlua going in with the double knockup on the pulverized headbutt combo right there. I have to say, I think it was a little careless from MAD. They definitely knew that the cow still had his flash up, but wandered a bit too far.
They're trying to end the game, Common. Rogue Warriors is teleporting in towards the top side of the map, not even going for Baron, trying to march this strong minion wave towards the Nexus. 1 Nexus turret at 2/3 of its health. They have 10 seconds till Liang is up. Mad have to put up a defense here.
Yep, they don't really have the wave clear to do it at this point. Doinby trying to shield a wave from them taking down the minion wave.
That's it though. They've been able to stop that big wave. Only 1 wave of 6 minions charging in. Doinby gets slowed down by Benny as well. The vision will come out from Swain. Uniboy is coming back up. 2 teleports used to try and get into that base to end the game, and Rogue Warriors get nothing off that team fight.
I will say they did get the inhibitor, so not all is lost, but that gives MAD a good chance to now pressure the Baron. Rogue Warriors have not backed in a very long time.
MAD have been able to go back to base. In fact, Breeze upgraded his last Whisper to Lord Dominic's Regards. So they have the buy advantage. Even though they're behind over 10,000 gold, MAD were able to pick up some items. They get another turret for themselves. 1 was taken down in the bottom lane when Rogue Warriors were contesting for Baron. MAD pushed down mid lane outer as well.
I have to say, I'm getting a little bit queasy about this game. Rogue Warriors should have won a long time ago, but let's first watch this team fight. Again, the knockup equalizer not getting a lot of targets, but able to finish off the front line that was knocked up by Kahlua. And Uniboy, of course, without his flash, is easy pickings. Doinby with the hero play.
But Rogue Warriors are looking for this Baron play again. Remember, there was a teleport from Doinby as well as Mouse, so they did get some items for themselves, and they get the Baron to start this fight. Doinby charging in. Paranoia is there from Flawless, decides not to pull the trigger. Kahlua below half health. Again, MAD lose the major objective. They're still behind. 50,000 to 64,000 gold. Minions are onto the Nexus.
They're gonna
the
lose
second Nexus turret's going to fall. They have to go back to Clay's base, Clement, or the Minions will do this.
Yeah, it does look like Rogue Warriors are not going to rely on themselves, but they do have some fans to finish the job for them. I really like how Doinby has been playing these fights and how accurate he has been with those ultimates onto Benny. There's never a chance for MAD to suddenly snipe, to suddenly steal away the Baron and just leapfrog into the game itself. Of course, again, they probably should have finished it earlier, but they're finally getting some handles on themselves and playing a more concrete game plan.
MAD's team tag of Mad is exactly how I feel they tried to make their opponents feel, Connor. Against KT, it was a 5-kill game total between the two sides yesterday. Now against Rogue Warriors, they've been behind over 10,000 gold, but they've held on to 34 minutes. And they're still holding on against Rogue Warriors. Yes, they've got the Baron. They've got all the items they need to finish the match, but MAD are not giving up without a fight. They're keeping the spirit of the LMS alive right now.
Yep, and we love fighting. just never back down, never give up. And that's kind of the MAD special right now. They have been doing a very good job at keeping Breeze out of harm's way. There's not a lot of lockdown onto Rogue Warriors. And he's trying to stand in front and get some poke damage.
Paranoia though, charging in, locks down Benny in a lot of trouble. Breeze forced to use the stopwatch and he's dead. That's the AD carry gone. It's an open Nexus. Double kill as well as the third being picked up by Rogue Warriors. K as well as Liang have to do the impossible, but it just looks too impossible at the moment. They will take them down and Rogue Warriors pick up a win.
Finally, Rogue Warriors sitting on over 15K. Started at 25 minutes. Probably could have ended the game cleaner, but they finally do it. The strengths of this team have been unlocked. You can see 3 people that can carry you through team fights. Mouse having one of the best games that we've ever seen.
I believe he had 10 kills, no deaths in the back half of that match. Picked up a triple kill at the Nexus there as well in the final team fights.
It was a great play from Mouse to layer the equalizer onto Breeze. The only time that they were able to pick him off with ease. And they finished the game off of that.
Crippling though for the MAD team as well as the LMS squad coming into this Rift Rivals. With that loss, unfortunately, they will have to play the blind relay tomorrow to try and fight for the second spot at the finals. Now it's between the LPL as well as the LCK to decide who gets the finals seed.
Definitely looks like LCK is the stronger side with this performance coming out. Rogue Warriors, even with the win, looked a little bit shaky, I would say.
That's it.
Also losing their game to KT Roasters. So they will be the 3rd seed for the LPL region. And of course, the bottom half of today's casting will be filled with LPL versus the LCK.
It will. Victus Gaming taking on SKTs coming up next, the final match. It's going to be the one that a lot of people have been waiting for. The finals rematch between Kingzone as well as RNG. We also have a Freak of Freaks playing against the final game for the LMS of G-Rex.
One last chance.
Let's talk about this though, Colin, because look at that gold graph. How does a team like MAD, despite the loss, fights on until 35 minutes, 12,000 gold behind?
Honestly, a lot of mistakes from Rogue Warriors. That if you want it straight, that's just what it is. Like, Alistar engaged, yes, he's probably the only tool you have, but once you lose him, nobody can lock down Breeze, and he was able to pelt away at Rogue Warriors' team. The teleports and the paranoias were a little bit off sync for them, trying to finish the game, and Doinby just taking a 1v5, so they should have fixed those mistakes.
A lot of mistakes coming out from Rogue Warriors, but very tenacious coming out from MND. They tried their hardest, but unfortunately were put too far behind at the start of the match. Let's send it back to the analyst desk, though, to break down that match.
Thank you, guys. And now, normally we would get right into the analysis, but I think Mama Frost has got a few words.
I wish I was wearing a belt because I would rip it off at this point.
I've got something. No, good.
Yeah, no. A couple of mistakes. Rogue Warriors should have ended that game at 25 minutes, especially with all of the dives that were happening in the mid lane, how successful that composition was. And then Kahlua, I don't know, just went full brain dead, just feeding into it. He's like, oh, you like beef burgers? I got plenty of them.
Yeah, it came down to the fact that all they had to do, and it really was down to the final siege, because they really wanted to all in on it. No one else was on side lanes. Side lanes meant nothing to them. They just tried to go straight mid, all 5. That's okay. That's actually fine, because they were so far ahead. They had the engage tool, but then it was like, well, I mean, Poppy goes in. Where's the Alistar? Okay, fine. He's like, Alistar goes in. Where's the Rumble? It's like, these are questions you should ask yourself when you're going into these plays, and they never had it. So MAD took your advice and just stood still, waited for Rogue Warriors to just feed themselves into it, and it happened later on in the game.
Just a meat grinder. It's like walking directly into a cheese grinder. I do want to talk about the compositions, though.
Yes.
I think Rogue Warriors did a phenomenal job in terms of how they set out their win conditions. The fact that they had the Poppy mid. It's the first time that we've seen an LPL team grab Poppy mid into Aurelia. I know it's been happening behind stage in scrims at the very beginning of the LPL that Aurelia was coming out. You know, she was almost blind pickable, must ban at MSI, and then suddenly she teetered off and disappeared. This idea of there's there's two different types of metas. There's the Bruiser, there's the ADC meta, and then there's the Aurelia meta. And Poppy was one of the picks happening behind stage. That was kind of like, okay, if you pick Aurelia, we will play this into you and you'll have no kill pressure. So great to see Doinby, who is a Bruiser mid player, take that one onto an international stage.
And I think this composition fit really well for it, because when you bring a Poppy into the mid lane, the major concerns are where's the damage in your composition, where's the engage in your composition. So immediately Mouse picking up the Rumble this time around makes a lot of sense. So you have the damage coming at the top lane, and you had the Alistar to actually lay the battlefield with his ultimate and with his Headbutt Pulverize combo as well. So the composition was excellent. You saw it play very perfectly from minute 1 to minute 15, and then the rest of it was like,
tape.
Yeah, cut it. That's it. That's when you stop watching. And then you tune in for just the analyst desk after. You're like, yeah, this was a clean day.
Perfect. Yeah. That being said, it did look so clean with those fights and dives in that mid lane. It was an easy setup. Doinby had push pressure with Poppy, of all champions, into that Aurelia, and then you got the Nocturne Rumble flank.
And this was the big point, was Mouse constantly coming in for the flank. Because if it's just a 2v2, Benny was there for a good portion of it, but the problem was the rest of Rogue Warriors were coming in constant time. It was Doinby starting it off, but it was the rest of Nocturne finishing it.
But it was also somewhat of a band-aid there. You know, this wasn't Rogue Warriors firing on all cylinders and the fact that they were all coming in all at once. It was the fact that Poppy was so tanky that she was able to stall out long enough that the rest of Rogue Warriors could collapse. So while it looks great in kind of this highlight package, like, look at how delayed some of these TPs are. Look at how long some of these fights are. This isn't the crisp, clean LCK that we saw when KT ripped Rogue Warriors apart, and this is where the growing pains are. Mad, frankly, they're just not good enough to really expose Rogue Warriors and capitalize on these mistakes, but the cracks are there, and it's in the timing between plays.
And I think the reason why it's going so well for Rogue Warriors, that they can really capitalize with how long this skirmish was happening, was because the first 10 minutes was really poorly played between Uniboy and Benny. Ultimately, they bring in Benny for the second game. Kongyu has come in strong in this summer split of the LMS, and then came in a, honestly, in my opinion, really good first game going up against KT. It doesn't matter that they lost that game. So ultimately, they brought in Benny. Poor performance, move on.
And we could still see a bit of emotion out of MAD's bottom lane. Breeze looking a little teary-eyed at the end of that game. Hopefully he'll be getting the chance to play a little later. That said, though, before we go to a break, we've actually got a quick interview with the mid laner, the superstar Doinby of Rogue Warriors.
Hello everybody, and I'm Clement Chu. With me is the victorious super carry Doinby. First question I have for you is, LPL has not played on the 8.13 patch. In fact, we skipped 8.12 to go directly here. What have you found interesting about this patch, and how do you think the LPL as a region is fitting into it? 我第一个想问你的问题是 LPL 赛区其实没有打过 8.13 版本，是从 8.1 直接跳过来的。那你觉得 LPL 作为一个区或者你们自己队友的话，有哪些东西是你们需要去适应，或者是你们怎么样找到办法来玩这个版本？
其实我对中路来说就没什么差吧，但是对下路来说呢，就下路的话，因为最近比赛都是很多正常的，比较算是就常用的 AD 英雄嘛，就是原生的那种，什么凯撒呀、露西安这种英雄用的比较多。因为8.11的话都是什么铁男这种 AD， 但是8.13的话，很多AD 都用的是比较算是正常的 AD 吧。
So for mid lane, it hasn't really changed, but 8.13 in the bot lane, we're seeing a lot more Lucians, a lot more Kaisas, a lot of normal AD carries going back onto the Rift. My second question for you, Doinby, you're actually the only Bruiser mid laner in the tournament so far. So can you tell us what's so good about the Bruisers? Why do you play these champions? 第二个问题，我想问你是，你其实是唯一一个斗士中单，在这一次的一个洲际杯里面，那你可以跟我们讲一下为什么你都选择使用这些英雄吗？
就首先这个英雄，我是训练赛用了很多次嘛，这比赛用的英雄，我训练赛都用了很多次，然后效果不错，然后我觉得我对这个英雄有自信，感觉我用这个英雄的话，我这把可以 carry， 有这种感觉。
So I just played them a lot in scrims. They had good effects, and if you give them to me, I'm very confident that I can carry with these champions. Final question for you. You're most likely going to go up against the LCK. Which team would you want to play against and why?
KT， 这当然是 KT。为什么？我真的想复仇。
It has to be KT because I really want revenge. That's all from